What a bloody big week in football. The side-by-side boys are here again for the start of the AFL season. Welcome, Archie. Welcome, Dan. Big explosive comments coming hot off the press. Adam Treloar can't keep out of the news. Great to have you boys here.
G'day, boys. Gee, I can't wait for Thursday night, even with Richmond Carlton and our boys on Friday night. The smell of freshly cut grass is becoming more prevalent this week, so I can't wait. Danny?
Yeah, I'm just so keen to see our boys playing back at the MCG with the home crowd, and we're gonna have supporters back, which is going to be amazing because that definitely took the atmosphere out of last year. So hopefully, we get up on the revenge game that the media is putting out against us, against Treloar. But yeah, just really looking forward to Friday night.
Yeah, and cannot wait. And I think probably up there with game of the round, probably the second in games of the round. And yeah, it's probably pretty hard to tip, like it is probably most years between these two sides. But yeah, hopefully the star players shine. And yeah, we get the W. How do you think it's going to play out, actually? What do you expect? What do you expect to see? And what do you expect to see on Friday night?
I'm actually quite worried to tell you the truth. Obviously, Treloar, I know it's been spoken about most pre-season, but that sort of gives the Dogs the edge, doesn't it? Obviously, an old player, much spoken about. You know, their midfield is so strong. But in saying that, I think ours is pretty damn good too when you think about it. I think our forwards and backs are better. So I think the game's going to be won and lost. If our midfield can get on top like it did last season, heavily, which I think we dominated possession, dominated contested possession, all that sort of stuff that wins your games. If we can defend well and find a way to kick it through the big sticks, I think we're certainly a red hot crack there.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. We discussed about that a bit earlier. The midfield battle's probably going to lean a bit more close to their side, but as me and Archie agree on that, we believe that our forward line and back line are a bit stronger than the Bulldogs, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. I think it'll be how well teams enter the ball inside forward 50 that will really be the telling sign to who wins the game. And yeah, what do you think on that comment, Butts? Because you are not really a Collingwood supporter, so do you believe that Collingwood have a better back line and forward line compared to the Bulldogs?
Yeah, I'm just going through it, and my big thing is Collingwood has a really great defence. We know that, really structured. Jeremy Howe back there, amazing player. I can't see how, honestly, the Dogs are going to kick a winning score. Like, I just can't see them kicking more than 10 goals. You look at their forward line, was absolutely terrible last year with Josh Bruce and Aaron Norton. Where Norton might not even be playing forward anymore. So yeah, I'm thinking that we might see a Bruce and a Bontempelli and a Steph Martin, Tim English forward line. I still can't see them kicking that many goals. Bont's going to give you one. Josh Bruce is a hack, and you might get one or two from the English pair. I think that if Collingwood and their delivery to Mason Cox on Friday night, I think that's going to be the difference, in all honesty. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, and I think it's really up to the way that the midfield... I think it's going to obviously win and lost in the midfield, but yeah, if Mason Cox plays well, I think Collingwood win, in all honesty. And we saw in the community series, I was just doing some analysing, and I just really want to talk about the ball movement. A lot of the goals on... in the Amy series game was really, really quick forward ball movement, getting the overlap, handball over the top, kick over the top, and banging it in. Even a couple of, I think 3 occasions on the weekend. That Rusco, they kicked it long and hard to him. And that's showing you what the game plan is, just getting it in there really, really quick overlap. And you saw, you kick it in front of Mason Cox, something happens. He brings it to ground. or he takes a grab, and that's what I'm seeing. I really can't see too many goals being kicked from the Dogs. Is that what you guys are seeing as well?
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on that because Dan and I had a little bit of discussion earlier about Bontempelli going forward, and if they do structure up with maybe Norton and Bruce forward, then obviously you have to play from our point of view. Yeah, you'd have to play probably Magin and Roughhead on them too, and then you sort of leave Howe loose, which is pretty good for us because obviously he's a weapon in the air, good user by foot, and then you've got sort of Maynard keeping Wallace quiet. So do you put more sort of on Bontempelli if Bontempelli spends more time forward? Because I don't trust Maynard in the air with Bont, and I certainly don't trust Magin. Roughhead's a good player, but I think Howe and Moore are the only two options I think who compete with Bontempelli in the air because he's such a strong player overhead, Bontempelli. You give him a sniff and it's game over. So I think the key for us is finding that matchup in defence. And obviously with our forwards, you've got Cameron, Mychek, and Cox and DeGoey potentially, and they've got Keith, Cordy. So I think we can stretch them at both ends. What are your thoughts, Nick? I know you probably agree on that too, with us sort of stretching them defensively and offensively.
Yeah, well, we talked about it, and we both agreed that was probably what was going to happen. That if it'll all depend on who's on the ground at the time. If Norton, Bruce, and the likes of Bontempelli move up forward, then you will have to sag off Darcy Moore, and he can't play loose anymore. And you give that role to Jeremy Howe because obviously the height difference between Howe and Moore would be much better in Darcy Moore's favour against someone like Bontempelli. Obviously that's how I see it. And I mean, even looking at Bulldogs' backs, they're not too tall. I'm interested to see if we play Darcy Cameron and Mason Cox in the same side. I'm not quite sure yet.
Well, I think
we
that'll
have
happen.
to. We have
I think
to.
that'll happen. Absolutely, especially with two rucks as well. Bulldogs having two rucks.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. Yeah, that's a solid.
We certainly. I think we have to play three key forward because like Mychek, he'll get the third defender, and we know how dangerous he is. Your gut runner, probably our most underrated player in my opinion in our team. So I think if he can get the third defender, who gets to go? You know what I mean? Like it's going to be key for us. I think our forwards need to stand up round one, and they did last year. So I think it's going to be really key. I think Mychek, Cox, and DeGoey are probably the main three I'm keen to look out for.
Are we tagging Caleb Daniel as a backman?
I think we have the prowess.
I think you got to put time into him. Absolutely, you have to put time into him. I
don't think we have the weaponry. I don't think we have very good defensive forwards, do we?
That is our issue. I think our best one probably is Jamie Elliott. Believe it or not, he's hard. He's hard in the footy, and you've seen him like work back, do like these amazing smothers. But yeah, then you take him away. So it'd be like you'd be aware once Bulldogs have the ball, then you switch on and have someone sit on him. But otherwise, you wouldn't worry about it. You're just like aware that if the Bulldogs got the ball, it's in the back 50, you'd have someone go to him and probably sit on him because you don't want him out of all the players in their back line kicking it out because he'll break open the play.
But see, I just think that Bulldogs have too many weapons forward of the ball to sort of. Obviously, they'll put time into Daniel, but I don't think that's where the game's been won and lost. If Daniel gets 35 disposals and they lose, then you sort of think, okay, what sort of impact? But then if he has a quiet game and they win, then obviously the mid's got on top. So it's sort of a catch-22. Like, do you put Tom into midfield or do you sort of focus on Daniel? But I think the midfield is more important this week.
Yeah, let's have a clear focus on kicking goals for this game. I'm looking at the three key forwards, your Darcy Cameron, your Mychek, and your Cox. looking at the matchups, I'm trying to find them. You've got Alex Keefe, who's probably a real, would you say, a fair lockdown player?
Yeah, he's centre half back.
Yep. You've got Norton, who's probably playing forward anyway. I'm just trying to find
There's
the
Zane
Dogs.
Cordy that generally plays full back.
Easton Wood. Zane Cordy.
Easton Wood.
Oh wait, sorry. Here's my side. I think for round one, that Easton Wood is out with a hamstring, which is a massive out. Norton's playing forward, your back line for Western Bulldogs is looking like a Caleb Daniel, Alex Keith fullback, Anthony Scott, who I haven't heard of, so I'm not sure. Bailey Williams, Ryan Gardner, and Jason Johannesson. Jeepers, I think can absolutely take them down. I think you're mismatching on your second and third defenders. Outside of Alex Keith, who's going to obviously will take Cox. I think that's there can be a big chance right there just to kick a few snags. I'm going to pop up and kick 4.
Well, you've touched on Norton going back, but how much experience does he have going back? Like, if he goes back, he's going to have to play on the tallest player in the AFL, probably, because I think Norton has a good leap ability, but then, you know, how much body pressure does he have off the ball to stop Cox running at the footy? You know, like, he might be an athletic footballer and he might be a gun of the game, but doesn't mean he's going to be a good defender.
He was drafted as a backman.
Alex Keith. Yeah, Alex Keith. Well, sorry, with Norton.
Norton, I mean.
Yeah, Norton was drafted as a backman. He spent all his juniors playing back, basically.
And he come runner-up in their best and fairest as a key backman as well a couple of years ago. Anyway.
So do you think they'll do that? Like, do you think that'll stop Cox in the air? Like, do you think Norton's good enough to go with Cox if Cox gets good delivery?
It all depends how well Coxie's playing or Darcy Cameron.
If Cox dominates on Keith, I can't see anyone else going with Cox, and I think you have to throw Norton back there, in all honesty. And it helps now that they've got the Steph Martin there as well. So
I agree, yeah.
That'll be really interesting, I think. But I definitely think that we can make a lot out of that. Then we're switching the other side of the ground. We're looking at the Collingwood backline versus the Western Bulldogs forward line. We've talked a little bit about it. You've got your Roughhead, your Howe, and your Darcy Moore, and Madgen there as well. So what I'm looking at is I reckon Roughhead goes to Josh Bruce as just that full lockdown. Do we think that'll be the matchup there?
Yeah.
So then you've got Aaron Norton, and I can probably see Darcy Moore going to him.
Yep.
And happy with that as well. It wouldn't surprise me at all. He's still got Tim English, so I can imagine goes to him.
Thinking about it now, I think Moore is better in the air. I think he might, if English plays forward, even Martin, I think Moore will go to the taller player.
Yep, fair call. And then you're looking now, this is one of their most important players. Mitch Wallace had a brilliant year last year. Who goes to him? Is it
Maynard,
yeah.
Easy. Yeah.
He generally takes that top small back in like Toby Green. He's had
Maynard will be a pest.
Liam Ryan, he's had plenty.
I don't necessarily like that though, because Maynard is such a weapon offensively now.
But what other weapon in our backline would you slot in to do that position? Would you do Crisp? He's not really
Jeremy Howe?
We like to have our intercept mark.
Howe, yeah.
Is that Quainer? I feel he's a gun one-on-one defender. Anyway.
I mean, they could. But...
I think Maynard. Boys. I think Maynard has to go to him.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. I think either of them could do it.
My big one you look out for too, and this will surprise you, but Lathis Vandermeer, he got injured mid-year, but his first 10 games was elite. He was having 3 shots a game in his first 10 games, so he might even pop up. But anyway, we'll keep an eye on that. They've obviously got 2 ruckmen as well, so that'll be really interesting to see how they go with that.
Lipinski for mine, he finds a way to pop up and kick 2 or 3 a game as well. So I think there's going to be a plethora of options that Bulldogs going to have going forward. So it's imperilled that we're actually on our game, to be honest, defensively as well.
Yeah.
Just moving on. Sorry, Bart, what are you going to say?
You're right. Go. All good.
We've found out yesterday that Sidebottom was ruled out. So there goes that conversation. Adams and Maynard have been given the green light. They've obviously had some niggle. Myercheck also been given the green light. Chris Mayne, which is probably is a big loss for us as well, because he likes to play that wing role. He's been ruled out due to concussion. He'll play Friday night VFL. And the big news coming out about 2 hours ago, Oliver Henry, our number 1 draft pick. Butsy, what are your thoughts on this? Because I know you're sort of a bit iffy about his pre-season. His Amy game. What are your thoughts on that? Do you mind him getting a game early on?
Was he? Now this was the boy that absolutely dominated in the intra club in the unofficial practice match. Is that right?
Yeah,
it is. Yeah. So he is obviously Jack Henry's brother from the Cats. I'm just keen to get your thoughts on this, Dan, because I know you're pretty you're all over this one.
Yeah,
I wanted to play, by the way.
Yeah, well, I mentioned after I watched it that he looked a bit out of sorts. He turned the ball over plenty of times, and he just didn't look like he was he just didn't look up to it during that game. But I watched the video of Bucks addressing the players about Oliver Henry playing, and he did mention that that probably wasn't your best game, but we've liked what we've seen during the whole pre-season, and we have a belief that you'll be up for the challenge. And he's going to be playing that Stevenson kind of role. He's really good with his hands, and that's one thing that we want going in forward, someone to take a mark. So yeah, what did you think, Bart?
Yeah, I wanted to play. I'm actually looking at him in Supercoach now, to be honest.
He's in my team.
Me and actually have him.
Yeah, so I've actually looked at him. I think a lot of people are going to get turned off about his game 2 weeks ago, but you got to remember, far out, everyone's just breaking the shackles. First game in the big time. Yeah, I'm just reading an article now. They've been bullish on Henry all summer, and he's been given the nod. That was a week ago, but yeah, they like what they see. They're throwing him in straight away. Good luck to him. I hope he does well.
Yeah, a couple more things about Friday night. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of attention on Collingwood pre-season wise. Like, how important do you think it is for us to make a statement in the first 10 minutes? Come hard at the footy, do all the 1%ers and that sort of stuff, just to sort of set the scene for the season.
I think the first quarter, come in at quarter time, and I honestly believe this because I think these two teams will be around that 7 to 9 mark. I think if we see a really switched on, energetic, really defensive minded, really hard to kick goals against side, that's going to give us a lot of information of how the season's going to go. Because you got to remember now, this is a pretty young group, a lot more kids on the list. If struggling in the first month in the first 2 or 3 games, you'll see more and more kids play. So I'm really just hoping for. I think it's vital. Actually, I think it's really vital that first 10 to 30 minutes that we're really seeing something, and I think the crowd's going to obviously have a fair bit to help in with that as well. What do you reckon, Dan?
No, I agree with 100% with what you boys have been saying. I probably don't really need to touch on what you're saying. Obviously, we want them to be intense because of the scrutiny we've copped during the pre-season and the trade period. So another thing I want to go off topic with that'll be a part of the Friday night's game, I'm really hoping that the Collingwood supporters do not boo Adam Treloar.
I was about to ask you boys that same question. Do you think he'll get cheered? I think it's going to be half and half.
I mean, the bloke wanted to stay at the club. He loves the club. He's even, tonight he was talking about it. He didn't want to leave. So yeah, we can't really hate him for that the club pushed him out, basically.
But God, we have some enough supporters, though. So I reckon it's going to be half and half.
Oh, yeah. I hope not.
But I think there'll be a couple of boos, maybe, but not much. It won't be all game anyway.
Yeah,
But
I agree. I
it'll add,
think that.
it'll add some theatre. Imagine if there was a fight pre-game. Oh, jeepers.
Yeah, bit of
Nah, he loves
bit
the
of something
players.
before.
Another interesting point for this game was that Pendles is playing his 199th game at the MCG. What a
Wow.
legend.
Yeah, that's incredible. And probably got over 30 touches in probably 100 of them too. I reckon I'd say, if not, it'd be close to that for sure. He's just been a weapon at everywhere, but especially the MCG. Like I've been in many games there where he's just looked invincible, hasn't he?
Mr. Consistent.
Absolutely.
Um,
All right, so we're going. Butsy, you reckon time for our new segment?
Yep, absolutely. So we don't have a sponsor yet, but this is our big call of the week. And I'm going to start. And this is something that I've been really thinking about all over summer, and me and my old man have had a fair few chats about it. He's an avid Richmond supporter. I'm thinking that Dustin Martin is not one of the greats of our game yet, as in I'm talking top 5, best ever. He's not. I don't think he's in the conversation yet. I think he's very close, though. I think one Brownlow medal and one season where he's probably been the top 3 players consistently the whole year. Can we probably agree with that? 2017, he was top 3 the whole season. We know finals is a different ballgame with Dusty, but my thinking is 3 Norm Smiths, 3 Flags, 1 Brownlow. If you add another Brownlow, that absolutely changes his outlook on his career. I'm thinking Mr. Martin is going to play predominantly midfield this year. I'm thinking like 80-90%. And I think this is his probably, because we know the team's Richmond's only probably got a couple of years in them. If they have injuries 1 year, probably only 1 year left. But I'm thinking Dustin Martin to win the Brownlow paying $9.
That's your big call or your certainty?
That is my big call. That's what I think will happen.
I like the call.
All right.
He's looking fit. What's your certainty,
Okay,
Butts?
so certainty, Butsy.
My certainty is Sear from the Collingwood Magpies will average over 18 possessions a game, and I think he'll hit 20 this week.
Oh, jeez. That's a big call.
No, that is my certainty. I think he will dominate. I think he will average 18 plus.
That's interesting.
All right, Daniel, what's your certainty or big call? What are you starting off with?
I mean, I did mine specifically on this game Friday night, and Butsy's gone for like the season. So,
I am too, mind you. I've gone season as well.
Oh, you've gone season as well. All right. Well, here we go.
Just my big call. I have, yeah.
All right. Well, I'll do it for this week, and my big call is that Aaron Norton doesn't slot a goal this week. I don't think he'll kick one.
I don't think that's a big call.
You don't think that's a big call? He's supposed to be their best forward.
He averaged 1 a game last year.
That's still a big call, though, because it's pretty easy to kick a goal, surely.
It's supposed to be their key forward. So, my certainty is for Jordan Ngoe to get more than 20 disposals. Getting a bit more mid-time will be good to see.
Yeah, easy.
That's my certainty.
Nice, I like that. And
my certainty is Geelong Cats to beat Adelaide by 10 goals plus on Saturday afternoon.
What was that?
Geelong to beat Adelaide by 10 goals plus this weekend.
Is that your certainty?
Yeah, easy.
Easy.
The Crows have not improved their list. Geelong are more hungrier. I can't see Adelaide even being remotely close to winning that game.
Great call.
And my big call, I'm not sure if it's a big call, but I think it's going to happen. In my opinion, it's going to happen, but it could be a big call. Melbourne finished bottom 6 and Simon Goodwin gets the sack.
Ooh.
That's very interesting considering I saw a thing today with someone projecting Melbourne to be in the top 8 or sitting 8th and Collingwood and
Nah,
Carlton sitting out.
I don't see it. I don't see it. Like that year they made the prelim. I think that was just a 1 year. Like they finished 17th 2 years ago, and what was it last year? 9th or 10th. I don't rate them, and I think Goodwin is not a good coach. I don't think he has the players' attention. I think he'll be gone at the end of the season.
I think they're wasting their time with Goodwin as well. I still think they'll end up finishing 7th or 8th, in all honesty.
Nah.
But I think that is absolutely under par for Simon Goodwin. He's been there a long time now, and I don't think he's getting the best out of that ruck midfield that he has.
No, I have Melbourne 10 to 13.
But you look at injuries as well. Ben Brown's going to be injured for the first third of the year. Weedman's out for the first half of the year. I think that's nearly already cost them anyway.
Ben Brown, obviously, you can't really put him in the conversation because he wasn't there. He hasn't been there. So you got to sort of just base it off the last 2 seasons and what I've seen. I'm not sold on him or the coach.
Yeah. Well, boys, round 1 is upon us, and how awesome is that? Thank you for joining me on Side by Side again. And hopefully we are talking about a big win next Tuesday night. Great to hear from you.